EDO Politics, and this time we're joined by Mathew Urhoghide, who is the PDP Publicity Secretary in Edo State. Thank you for coming on today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, first of all, we understand you were in ACN, were you? And now you're with the PDP.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, I was in the PDP up till January 2011.
ACN?
The ACN, yes. Till January 2011, I left on a note of principle because the very basis for belonging to the party, was eroded. And it happened during the senatorial primaries, that took place on the 12th of January of that year. We had expected that we were going to play according to the rules, but unfortunately, the leadership of the party did not allow that. The leadership, as symbolized by the comrade governor himself, whom, of course, had preached the one-man, one-vote thing. And as I speak to you, the results of the primaries that we have for my senatorial election or nomination has still not been released. So on that note, I just couldn't be part of any hypocrisy, so I had to leave the party.
But the party that you're in now has also been accused of some questionable principles that should not be in the first place. There's killings here and there, violence orchestrated by them. The ACN accuses the PDP. How come?
Well, first and foremost, if it is on the note of, getting popular choices within the party as they concern congresses and primaries, I don't think it has happened in the recent past. Not, of course, when the new leadership came into existence in the party or when I came into the party. But I want to say the issue of accusation is a different thing altogether. What the ACN is doing in Edo State, and in fact the government, is one that is very funny. I see it as, unnecessary propaganda, outright misinformation, and then of course a deliberate attempt to win undeserved sympathy. It's an election year, yes, but that does not mean that we have to throw decorum to the mud.
Which misinformation?
There's a whole lot of misinformation about the recent activities in Edo State. The issue of the accident that happened, the assassination of Lighton, the principal private secretary to the governor.
What's your version of the accident? Because they say, how come PDP seems to be an eyewitness in the matter?
You see, in the first place, an accident happened, no doubt about that, and lives were lost. The governor had gone to Afuze, for a rally, of course, to take in persons who had defected to the ACN. He got to Afuze, conducted the activity, and was going back. At that point, one would have expected that they would have given blow by blow account of what happened. The governor jumped into a car and drove that car from the scene. He had in company a serving member of the State House of Assembly. And then, of course, the convoy now ran after him. First and foremost, that was a breach of protocol. They ran after him, and as they were running after him, you would have imagined if that convoy was still organized or disorganized, even when you were not there. And they got to a bend where they said they met this truck.
Not a straight road? Not
a straight road. Of course, even newspapers reported. We have since put up, press statements to that effect. If you ask, they say it was a bend. Of course, they came right head on to a truck that was coming on its own. We weren't there. If you still go out there to find out what actually happened, people will tell you. Because we have made conscious efforts to find out what happened. The governor's activity was just for about some minutes and he drove off. And they pursued him. At that point, we are asking at what speed were they moving? If it was a bend, they came across this lorry.
Okay, just for information purpose.
And it now happened, excuse me, I listened to Kazim when he mentioned that it's a staff car. Is the staff car the first car?
The flag car?
The flag car. The governor normally sits in. Is it always the first, second, or third car? There are other cars Security, they are in front.
He said the
pilot
truck
car
was heading for the flagged vehicle.
The flag, that is the car in which the governor sits. Is it always the first car in the convoy?
But it seems that what he was saying, from what I get, it seems that the flag car was in the middle of other vehicles, but it was the target. So the car went straight for that particular flag car, thinking the governor could have been in it.
You see, for the governor to have been the car in front, has he controverted that? That he was the one that was driving the car that was in front? He has not said anything.
In other words, the governor passed and they were chasing him.
They were running after him to catch up with him.
The flag car was behind the governor's own car.
Was right behind. It was not the one directly behind him where we're not there. But he has not controverted the fact that his car was the car that was in front of the convoy.
How did you get all of this information?
Because the governor agreed. The governor agreed that he drove the car.
The PDP is playing the witness to this whole
the state security,
accident.
The state security service, the police, they were part of that convoy. Have they not spoken? The survivors in that accident, some of them have spoken. All right, so they are still alive. That's why we are telling you, let the police finish their investigation. And please be patient and civil enough for them to make the truth known.
Okay.
To orchestrate an accident, is it easy? Even if you say it is orchestrated, you have your facts.
Okay, just for information purpose, I mean, you can have a bend in a slope.
Yes.
So is the road in question a straight road or a slope?
Well, listen, I cannot tell you exactly what happened, but I want to tell you that the account that was given, even the one reported in the paper, the governor said it was a straight road when he visited the families of one of the victims. Okay. But those there and the ones they reported, they said it was a slight bend.
Okay.
It was not a straight road. Otherwise, of course, they would have been able to see the vehicle that was coming.
What about the killing of the principal secretary? Because some say these actions cannot just be coincidence.
You see, look, you see, it's just unfortunate that, when things happen like this that are supposed to attract sympathy, people try to give the coloration of necessary politics. Mr. Oyerinde, was quite an amiable young man. I was in the party, before, and of course he was my friend. He was not a politician, just a quiet person doing his work at the back office. In fact, I don't even think a lot of persons in the PDP ever, met with him. I didn't know him. All right? He was not a party man from Osun State. Of what electoral value was he going to be? What difference was he going to make? He's not a car-carrying member of the PDP or even the ACN. He's a labor man. All right? So any person, when they say, a meeting was held, where? Tell the police. And we have put our feet down too in the PDP that the investigation must be completed and made public. When you go out to make these spurious accusations that you cannot substantiate, it's unfortunate that, persons went there and killed, the poor man. But unfortunately, at the same time, you wait for investigations to be completed. And we are bothered to tell people, it's not the first time we have been talking about insecurity in Edo State. The opting time. In fact, there was a publication, a press release I had to make some few weeks back, calling the attention of the governor again about the security challenges in Edo. The court, you see, a lot of things happening in our state. This year alone, we have found out that we went to first headquarters of the police. They will give you all the statistics. Murder cases in January were reported, up to about 10 of them. Murder and kidnapping cases were reported. In February, the same number of robbery, kidnap, and murder. In March, the same. In April alone, ITV staff was killed. He was shot and killed. In fact, this own happened, all right? And you can see a lot of other things that happen. But these challenges have been there.
Just let us come in here. When you talk about a lot of others that have happened, I'm quite sure you heard what the Commissioner for Information did say, that a party leader, a PDP party leader, had threatened to kill him. That's Mr. Louis Odion saying the PDP party leader from your state, Edo State, had threatened to kill him. I'm quite sure you read that in the papers.
Yes. In fact, when he first mentioned it, I attempted to give a reply to him because I wanted to find a nexus between Louis Odion and Chief Tony Aneni. And somehow, it was not there. I wanted to, where did they meet? At what occasion? They said the Oba's Palace. Were they seated together? Or, they spoke as they walked along? And I found out there was nothing like that. Incidentally, I think Luis Odiontu is from Edo Central. You see, in an attempt to try to please their master, the only thing every person wants to do is to try to cast aspersion on the person of Chief Tony Aneni.
Yeah, but did you also hear, sorry to cut you,
Yes.
to interrupt that, but did you hear the rumors? Was the rumors making the round, or was that also, can that be confirmed by you, that Chief Tony Aneni has said that he wants to give victory to Edo State PDP as his birthday present or retirement present?
That he wants to give victory to PDP, of course, that one is not in dispute. He's a national leader of the party. All right? And like any other person who is in the party, he's very determined to give victory to the party in Edo State. No doubt about that. But to say he wants to use it to celebrate his birthday, this is not the first time he's getting victory. All right? He has gotten victory in the state before. PDP ruled the state from 1999 to 2007. He has gotten victory at the federal level. Okay, a presidential election. So to say this one is a peculiar one to celebrate his birthday, I think is trying to demean the process.
But if you're a fine gentleman, can you say the same thing for other members of the party?
You see, I want to say with every element of seriousness, I have just told you that the present leadership of the party is one that is responsible, and of course is responsive to the ideas of the party, and the government will want to try to throw up in Edo. If Edo people give endorsement to PDP, I say one of the first things we have to do is to admit, some of the lapses when we were given the opportunity to govern the state. PDP has accepted that. We have accepted that, yes, when the party was in government, it didn't quite meet the aspirations of the people. It is clear. And this, at the same time, the party as a system, any other political, it's not a static system. It gradually undergoes some dynamism. It is dynamic in terms of membership, it is dynamic in terms of leadership, it is dynamic in terms of the government that it throws up. And that's what we are saying. A lot of the persons today constitute the leadership of the party, including the candidate of the party. The candidate of the party was never involved in leadership and governance at that time.
Which do you prefer as a political party? A media kind of war or following due process? For Mr. Fegbe, said you haven't written to ask for all of those details that we've always heard from your party, asking the Edo State government to bring out the financial records of its spendings.
They say, I heard when they said that. Quite frankly, there is a law. The Public Procurement Act, is it not very clear that we have to follow process in awarding contracts? You have to advertise them. They have to go through, consideration, by the tenders committee, and of course the eventual award made public. Why is it that all these things in Edo State are stood in secrecy? Everybody has been shouting the last 4 years of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole in Edo. What is the worth of Airport Road? A road that is 7.5 kilometers. What is the worth? People are making all conjectures. You now have to, you are asking, in fact, with all the promptings of that government, if it was honest with it, to come out, this is how much we have spent. And every person is having all the guess. But we have been able to posit it that is between 10 and 11 billion that will be spent on that road, because they are using the second set of contractors. And when it was first awarded, we know so much was given. And if you say you gave that road for 4.8 billion, as government agreed, and then of course we have gone to find out that in taxes, the company paid to government in excess of 500 million. What percentage of that contract was paid in taxes to government?
But aren't you happy with the state of Edo now? You talked about Airport Road. Once upon a time, it was a tiny stretch. You look at Akpapava, once upon a time, it was almost like a footpath, very narrow. And today you go there, everywhere is expanded, everywhere is all lit up. Yes. And you see that the 5 junction, which was a nightmare to Edo people, we also see that it has being worked on. So isn't that up to what you expect him to have spent in fixing Edo State?
But I want to tell you, you see, you asked a question. When there is a malfeasance in an action, of course, you erode the good intention. There's a wrongdoing. This is what we are trying to point out. Airport Road was never a road, that had potholes. Akokova never had a single pothole. Sapele Road never had a single pothole. In Benin City alone, we have over 2,000 streets, 2,000 roads, streets and lanes. And all these ones you have just mentioned, you have probably mentioned about 4 or 5. These were roads that were already existing. I heard when Kazim said, in Edo, you have a dual carriageway. We have always had dual carriageway. What it means, 2 vehicles going and 2 vehicles coming. What he did was to add an additional lane, making it 3 vehicles going, 3 vehicles coming. All right? And of course, you have to put the sidewalk. All right? And we are saying that thing you have done, what is it worth? In fact, even if with all the decorations, we have asked for the BOQ, with all the decorations of street lights, how much is it worth?
But the question
is, today, we have not been able to tell us how much it is worth. But we have found out that these contracts are overpriced.
No, but it seems that you found out through underhand means, in the sense that they say that you do not make use of the Freedom of Information Act, and
Yes.
they never received any letter asking for how much it truly costs.
Well, let me tell you, not just a political party, not just the PDP as a party alone, other well-meaning citizens of Edo State have been making this call on the government to furnish the Edo public with the details of the costing of these contracts.
It's one thing we have done, excuse me,
we have done so. We have done so. We have done so. And each time we have done so, they have never bothered, excuse me, because if you do it in an accusation, it cannot be a document that you want to present to say that is the only thing. You can make a verbal demand. For instance, we have told him, you have this structure going on in Iyamo, worth 10.8 billion. We have assessments, and we have thrown it at you. If you know you want to excuse yourself, no, it's not 10.8 billion, it's only 5 billion, or it's only 500,000, let us know. But we are able to shoot the structures. We are able to shoot the structures. If you have to cost a pillar, and you say this is the gatehouse, and you say this is the driveway, and you say these are the capes, and you say this is the mansion, we have been able to do a costing. And we have come up to say it is this. It is not your responsibility. It behoves on you to tell us it is not.
You know what's
interesting?
But
to tell us that it does not exist, we have now asked if you say it does not exist. Now he has accepted that yes, construction work is going on. It's only a little addition, an outdoor bar. But what we have found out, we said, look, to raise this issue, let us have a guided tour. Let us have people from the media. Let us have the police. Let us have other political parties. Let us have market women. Let us have students. Let us guide. Let us go and inspect.
Is that how they do it?
No. Because
that's his private.
It's already in public domain. Because we are accusing
the family. That's his village. The family, they live there. The mother lives there. Everyone lives there.
No. The mother lives in a separate place.
Before, the same Iyamo you talked about. Before he became the governor, he's always gone to his village.
Yes, but where he's developing is not where he had as governor. It's a different place. And in fact, I overheard Kazim was saying that even the land is free. That land is equally in contention.
You know, sir.
The LLA Ozaire people are contending that part of their land is there and that they want it.
Can we talk about your candidate, Marcus?
Yes.
Sorry, because Kazim says he's unpopular. Why would you bring up an unpopular candidate before the Edo people?
Okay, can I say something? How do you describe popular?
Maybe Kazim can actually give the...
Now, you see, I mean, he said it. All right, Kazim, my friend, I don't want to use unkind words. You know, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole became governor of Edo State. What was his antecedent in governance? Was Nigerian Labour Congress president. Did he have any experience in governance? Was he ever a councillor? Was he ever a chairman of a council? Was he ever a member of the House of Assembly?
But he had some experience in leadership, and he was,
now the candidate that we had was a directing staff in National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, a major general, a directing staff in the NIPSS. And then, of course, he was the military attaché of this country to the United States and Britain. So in diplomacy, he's a chartered accountant. So if you want to look at it, he has HND in accounting, he has MBA, and then of course he has a professional qualification in accounting.
Did he negotiate his way out of service?
Of course, he retired voluntarily and on merit. You see, when they say, you know, in politics, somebody they want to smear you. We have said the 3.something billion, this one that he was arrested. He has told them, a man like that coming out to say I was not. If they know, it's not for him to go to court, because they have not put it in a manner that smears his integrity. They are all just things in the air.
It's very interesting too, because you see, when you're accused,
I'm saying
I mean, I'm sorry, I have to laugh here, but you know, when you allege certain things, for instance, the 10.8 billion naira mansion in the Edo State governor's village, and then the work is actually done in town. I mean, someone can spend that humongous amount of money constructing his private estate, but when we now want to value what has been done in town, we actually think it's over bloated.
What has been done or the building?
No,
what she's saying,
I'm saying is,
now you have to value that from your own.
In terms of valuation,
that when you take that same building that you would ordinarily have built in its city, like Benin or Lagos, it's not the same amount you would spend in putting that same structure in the village. So it's quite possible that the PDP is overestimating the amount he's spending on his village.
Well, look, I just told you something. Our assessment could be wrong.
That's the question. That
either we are under-assessed or we are over-assessed. But that is the man that is constructing their structure. We have told you this is the...
And you're also saying...
Looking at all the structures that you are putting there, this is what we think.
Sir, you know, we also asked if you had written to ask. And then this time around, when Mr. Kasim Afebwa said he wrote about your candidate and he's still waiting to be taken to court, you said it's just on the air. They have not done anything to cast aspersions on his integrity.
We have advertorials, all this while by that building.
But that is not writing to ask for.
Kazim he has not written to our candidate to ask whether he was dismissed from the army. He has not. The party, the ACN and government have not written to our candidate.
Okay.
Because they know they are rumors, they are unfounded. But if you impugn the integrity of somebody, in fact, I know our candidate will be civil enough to write back to put the record straight. They have not written.
Okay.
They are just conjectures.
So just a lot of rumors flying
it's just
in the air.
But you see, a man like that to be contesting election now and had that ugly past, do you think he would want to jump into a lake? And with the military authorities having a man of that questionable character, all right, coming out to say he's running and he's still flaunting his ranks and all that, is it not enough for you to know that it is a deliberate, attempt to smear him?
Don't you think that the circumstances surrounding the ouster of PDP kind of puts them on the back foot?
You see, yes. Let me tell you, when you are given an opportunity to serve, and by the assessment of the people, it is that yes, you didn't do well. I was just telling you a while ago, some of us too, who are in the PDP today, were not there, probably not there. A lot of persons were not there, and those who were there and are still in this party, are still in the party today, who want to look at the roles that they played. The persons who consider government, the case of Edo is very ironical. Those who were in that government today, that period, the inglorious period in quotes, today are all in the ACN, all of them.
Really?
Yes. And the ones who are now steering the ship of the PDP in Edo State were not in government. And if you want to know, every person, the chairman of the party was the speaker, the secretary of the party was, of the party was the GM of a government company. All right? Every person, you take it from the beginning to the end. In government, is the same. In fact, even the governor too was in the PDP, because he campaigned for the governor who was there between 1999 and 2000 in his place. So, you see, now we have come back trying to clear the faces.
If you campaign for, sorry sir, I need to get this straight. Sorry, before you continue your thoughts. If you campaign for somebody, even though you're not necessarily a card-carrying member of that party, does it make you a member of the party?
No, you see, he was a card-carrying member of the party. Yeah.
That's the current governor
Yes,
of Edo State. Was
yes.
a card-carrying member
Of the PDP, yes.
Okay, just confirming.
And I want to tell you, today it is very convenient for them. You see, PDP did not do anything. My friend today, who is the vice chairman south of the party, all right, was the chief of staff and secretary to that government. All right? So if we are looking at it, we are telling them, this is where we are. Things change.
Okay.
Now that we have come into the party, if you must talk about yesterday, you must know that you are talking about yourselves.
Okay, in closing.
And I know people know that this is the truth.
So this is a brand new PDP.
This is, yes, that's why we call it a transformed party.
How do we ensure that peace reigns in, because, I mean, behind the scenes, yourself and Kazim, you shook hands, exchange pleasantries.
Yes.
And you're representing different fronts. But you have people out there who also represent different fronts, who are literally sworn enemies and never see eye to eye, and perhaps may lead to violence. How do we ensure that leadership conveys to followers that, listen, it's not do or die. You have to do it safely, be civil about some of these things.
But I want to tell you, quite frankly, that is what we stand for. I mean, the display you saw here is supposed to go down the line. But when persons do want to make wrong accusations, like they are doing now, how are you going to ensure peace? If not the civility, if not the maturity of the PDP over this issue, if not the tolerance that we have had over this issue, of course, this whole thing would have escalated in the States. You see, you have talked about two issues, and you are still saying meetings are still being held. By who? What for? If that is there, why don't you tell them? The state security is there, the police is there, tell them. Let them apprehend these people. But if you go out and you put that in the air, you want to deliberately misinform people, it's annoying. I mean, since these accusations came, I have personally felt very bad. And for you to keep singing of a leader in the party, you are giving him names, and the man is not talking to you. It's not enough for you to, sit back and see the damage your utterance, is probably making. And that is wrong. The only way we can ensure peace is for us to, conduct ourselves, in a manner, in a decorous manner that, of course, can, ensure peace. Otherwise, all these accusations and counter accusations, there are institutions in Nigeria that are supposed to investigate issues like this. And if they investigate, they come up with the facts, we should take it as the facts. And we expect, just like we want to say, because this is one great opportunity for us to talk about this issue. Nobody wants a tense situation in Edo State. And I want to say, PDP is not saying it is a do or die. I'm not saying so. If Adams Oshiomhole is going to be changed, and that's what we wish is changed, all right, it is Edo people that will decide. All this issue of being Edo State is a construction site, they are figment of imagination in the eyes of those who are saying so. Those of you who are from Edo State, you know the truth. The owner of this establishment is from Akwekwe. And of course, he knows he has to go over 150 feet down to get to his village. That thing is not done.
But bottom line is,
all
you
right?
have appealed to people
so many
to be
places
peaceful
like that.
about it. They should conduct themselves
Of course, yes.
decently. That's what the state needs and wants.